Hello Evertonians and welcome to another episode of the All Together Now podcast. We're here at the Bramley Moore as we are every week. I'm Tony Scott, Greg O'Keefe, David Hughes, and I've got Jez Clein with us, and we've got him because obviously referees are the topic of discussion over the past coming weeks. Jez is a level 5 referee, aren't you, Jez?
Correct, yes.
So it'll be interesting to get his take on VAR in the Premier League. The Son challenge will be an interesting one. We'll also be speaking about Marco Silva's pre-match press conference quotes today. They were very interesting. And on Everton too soft, we'll give the lads thoughts on that, and obviously we'll be speaking about Southampton versus Everton on Saturday. Jez, we'll start with you first. VAR in the Premier League as a whole, what's your take on it so far?
I was never a fan of it coming in the first place. The thing about refereeing is it's too subjective, and the technology given to the referees, the VAR, the video assistant referee, it's not like cricket, right? I'm a cricket umpire as well. They get the definitive answer. Once you DRS something, you've got ball tracking to help you, you've got hotspot to help you, you've got Snicko to help you, and no one then can argue with the result of it. It's black and white. Offsides can work, they're black and white. That De La Feo penalty the other day, absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense to say, yes, there was a little bit of contact. 50 referees will say no penalty, 50 referees may say penalty, so how's it benefiting the game?
So have you got some sympathy with the current position referees in at the moment when someone is now overruling them?
I don't think they should be overruled. I mean, if you look at the Son penalty appeal the other day, Martin Atkinson actually took up such a good view from it. He was 10 yards away from it. He shouldn't even have to review that. He's had a clear view. I mean, I've refereed sometimes as the challenge goes in, someone cuts across you and you're blinded from it. So it would be nice to have an extra pair of eyes. So I think where they're going wrong is he needs to look at that screen. He's the referee. He is the referee. End of. He has assistants to assist him. At the end of the day, he's the referee. He's the one who needs to make the decision.
Greg, for you, VAR in the Premier League so far, it is a bit of a mess, isn't it, at the moment?
It has become a dog's dinner, yeah. I completely agree with Jez there. I think the referee should be allowed to... See, I know a lot of people have said, I'd rather just go back to the way it was. And really, there's no going back now. And the way it was becoming imperfect with the way the game has become faster. It's become more scrutinised. There's no way you can go back to the 80s when the refs, when you weren't having added technology. But I still think the ref should be the ultimate arbiter. And so I agree with what Jez is saying. The ref's decision should be final. By all means, give him the technology as much as it can. And I take his point about the cricket where it's more black and white. But he should take responsibility and own the decision by going to pitch side and looking at the monitor and having him overruled, albeit by a colleague, which is kind of a whole nother story, from somebody in the truck in St George's Park, just isn't working. It's not working, and I think the Premier League chief execs, the refs, they all have to sit down and find a compromise, because as it is now, it's killing the enjoyment of the Premier League, and it's all we're talking about. And certainly from an Evertonian point of view, it's having a really big impact on our season.
David, was Brighton, was that the game for you where you said VAR just cannot carry on with the way it's going? That penalty that was given against Everton, the Michael Keane incident, was that the one for you that I've washed my hands with this now?
I don't know if I'm necessarily in that position, to be honest with you, Tony. No? It's just, I do agree that it's a mess at the moment. I still think it can be an asset to the game, but it just needs to be, it needs to change. And I don't know if I've necessarily got the answers on how it needs to change, but right now it is a mess. And I mean, that decision was really difficult. One thing I will say, obviously going off Jez, who kind of experiences that first hand, is I don't like the idea of the VAR centre or whatever the technical name is. I don't like the idea of them contacting the referee and saying, "Oh, you've missed a penalty here. You need to award a penalty for this challenge." Yeah. I just think that's too far. I think it should be used as a review system. But at the requirements of the referees refereeing the game. I don't think that is a clear and obvious error enough for them to almost step in and say this needs to be a penalty. I think that's too far.
Yeah. Jez, is it got to a point now where you've got two guys in Stockley Park who are watching these games happen, who are very inexperienced in the Premier League, and they are now overruling experienced referees? That's a dangerous ground, surely.
Well, there's a mixture. I mean, these guys, it was Anthony Taylor.
I was going to say, it's not always inexperienced.
But there's one inexperienced as well.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why they need a VAR and a VAR assistant as well. I mean, there's too many of them getting involved. I mean, I saw, obviously, when you were at the match the other day, you couldn't tell Ali's handball. No one even knew what the review was for. As soon as someone sent me a picture on Twitter, it's like, how have you not given that as a handball? But it's a subjective decision. I mean, I'll get shouted at 10 times a match for some handballs I do give, some handballs I don't give. But that's my decision. And it's only my opinion, really, that counts. In any game I referee, whatever anyone else thinks, it's my opinion. But now you suddenly get in his opinion, his opinion, his opinion, and there's too many. I think the ref has got to own it. And if the VAR wants to say, have a look at it, I don't mind that, as long as he has a look at it. But I don't think they should be making that decision. I mean, I don't think it works anyway for subjective decisions. For me, it should have just been offsides. Did contact happen in and outside the area? Because they are black and white decisions. I mean, that Sterling one last night, that worked well. I don't know if you saw that. He was dragged back. If the contact had carried on into the area, then it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Even if it started outside the area. But they had a look and it was outside, and that's perfect. That's how it works. Not with, there was a slight bit of contact on his leg there. Yeah.
Do you find it frustrating when they do say there's contact, it's a penalty? Because it's a contact sport, so because you get touched doesn't necessarily mean that it's enough to make you go get a penalty.
Yeah.
Does that wind you up?
Absolutely. I mean, you get 100 shouts a game of he's all over him, ref, he's all over him, and it's like my standard answer to that is, if you don't want any contact, go and play netball, because that is non-contact. I still like a bit of there's got to be some contact and physicality there, otherwise it's not a game of football as we know and we used to play.
Greg, I was speaking to a lad today, and he basically told me, he said he was at the Liverpool match last week, and he said there was an incident with VAR at Anfield a couple of weeks ago, and he had this illegal streaming on his phone, watching what was happening. He said he could check, sat in the cop, whether it was offside or whether it wasn't, and everyone was going, what's the score? And he checked it, and VAR in Stockley Park was taking 2 or 3 minutes, and he could see whether it wasn't straight away off his phone. I'm sure that's not right. We've seen with the Dele Alli incident, 28 replays did they have in 3.5 minutes?
And sometimes Sky and BT seem to have better, more conclusive answers, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good point. In a sense, the whole reason of VAR is it was intended to put some of these things beyond dispute, to make it fairer. So I don't mind them taking, within limits, taking their time to make sure they get the right answer. The problem is that they're not getting the right answer. And I wouldn't mind asking Jez as well. It's been mentioned, and I know you don't referee in the Premier League, but the concept of it, you might have a point on, about miking up refs like they are in rugby, to add, I suppose, that extra degree of transparency. I think Premier League refs will resist that. I just got a feeling that they wouldn't be up for that. I could be wrong. What do you think about the principle of doing it?
I think the issue is the language from the players, isn't it? That's the issue. I don't think refs should have too much of an issue. I think you'd see. I mean, I'm a talker when I ref. All the time. I'm talking. Good challenge. Get on with it. Advantage and all that. And even when I'm talking to players, I like to tell them what I think at any one time. I think the objection's always been the language from the players, isn't it? I think that's what the drawback for that.
Well, if they're told, if they're warned, and it may produce a yellow card for any bad language because this is mic'd up live, all of a sudden
it's a cultural change, isn't it? Maybe?
The law will change. Any swearing.
What do you think? Should it be mic'd up? For that transparency? so you can hear the process. I just think I'm a rugby fan as well, and it helps me. I might not necessarily agree with it, but it humanises the ref for me in a way. Especially like some of the top refs, in the World Cup just gone.
Would you think Premier League refs would fancy it?
Well, my point was I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't think Atkinson would enjoy doing that.
And they're under a lot much more pressure than probably any officials in any sport in the world, aren't they?
It probably brings us on to the Son challenge.
Can I just say something really quickly, just while we're talking about those 20-odd replays?
Yeah.
My issue is, I feel like when you're watching things in slow motion, it takes away the context of the game as well. And I saw one in Europe this weekend. It may have been, can't remember, say it was Bayer Leverkusen. They scored a goal, and in the build-up, so the pass before the shot's taken, the ball bounces up in the air, and it brushes the guy's hand, but doesn't change the direction of the ball. He then lays it off, and they score. That gets pulled back in VAR, and as I said, I couldn't watch it with the naked eye, couldn't watch it with many angles, but there was one angle that shows the connection with the hand as it brushes it. Now that's ruled out, but that's being really slowed down. And in reality, as I said, in the context of the game, it doesn't change the direction, they don't gain an advantage. And I think that's something we're losing as well when you're doing these really slow replays on VAR.
But the Dele Alli incident, I know, like we were lucky we had monitors in front of us, and we could all see that it was handball, what he'd done. But you don't need 28 replays to see that was handball. So you need 2 at the most. You go, hang on, alright, another angle, he's handballed it. He knew what he was doing, didn't jump for the header, and threw his hands in an unnatural position.
I just thought that his hand was in an unnatural position, and then for them to say, which I've never heard before, but it's obviously they're not making it up, it is in the rules that there was a caveat for when someone's under, I think it was undue, I'm paraphrasing, pressure from the attacker. I just felt like, oh, all right then. So basically, everything had been done. Is the bottom line? I know it's not like that. Obviously, there isn't an agenda against any clubs. You're just lucky sometimes and unlucky sometimes. But it's mega frustrating. It really is when you look at that and his arms up here.
Yeah. There was one interesting one, the Son penalty shout as well. My initial thought was the ball through to him. He may have been offside.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they ever checked that. So what would have been interesting is if they had have then given the penalty and then 5 minutes later, Sky actually have a look at the build-up. Ooh, he was actually offside. They should have looked at that first. It's like, I say in cricket, it's like not checking the no ball first, then going through all the thing, then he's out, he's on the way back to the pavilion. Oh, by the way, it was a no ball.
Then you're back in play.
So it would have that.
There's one for you. The Dele Alli, he just handballed it, and obviously he said no penalty. So no, after it's hit Dele Alli's hand, if that goes over the line, goes in, is it a goal? Is it given as a goal?
No, because I think it's still it wasn't it whether or not it's a deliberate handball.
But if it's come off Ali,
if it's come off Ali, if it's hit his hands and gone in,
it's a goal.
Yeah, it's still a goal.
I see what you mean. Sorry, maybe.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Did anyone ever? I know we're trying to move on, but get an understanding of why they checked the Son penalty shout, which I thought was a bit of a clumsy challenge, but it wasn't a penalty. Right. I'm surprised it wasn't given. And then play seems to carry on, or we're all going back towards the.
And then they were checking it again.
And they were checking something again.
Yeah, what happened was the ref got another call that they'd got another angle of it.
That's
so they
and this is where it's getting a bit nuts, isn't it?
That is absolutely insane.
And then they look at the other angle. And it's still there.
Oh madness! Well, let's get to the Son challenge. It's the one everyone's talking about. It obviously there's bad news that come of it, of Andre Gomes picking up a serious injury. Greg, that's another big factor on why referees do need help, especially in an emotional packed game like that. Because I didn't know this. Jez, you'll be able to tell us more about it. That you can actually change the colour of your card because of the state of the injury.
What? It's within the rules.
Well, he didn't actually award. He didn't show him the yellow card. He got it out.
Yeah.
I thought he showed him initially.
No.
I thought he did.
He got it out. It was in his hand, and then everyone obviously got their.
But surely to God, you're allowed to change it, judging by the state of the serious injury.
Well, obviously you can. I mean, I don't think he should have done. My personal opinion, it was a yellow card challenge, wasn't it? And obviously it's unfortunate. obviously the way he's landed or whatever, that he's come out with the injury.
I'm glad
he
you
has.
said that, because I thought I was going to be fighting.
No, I mean, I've refereed games and someone's just been fouled, they've landed awkwardly and dislocated their shoulder. So,
but he's gone out intending to foul him.
Yeah, most are.
But there's a difference between, he knew what he was doing, because he tried to leave one in on Iwobi about 5 seconds earlier. So the red mist had come down and he was looking to, and you know for a fact when, if you want to do someone, you do them, and he was going to do him. Obviously he didn't mean to, obviously the serious injury that happened, but he went out to injure a player.
Yellow card foul, whether intentional or not, is still a yellow card foul. Yeah. So if the red mist would have been irrelevant if he'd 2-footed him, and in that incident with his studs up, he dislocated his ankle. It's a straight red card.
But where did you draw the line? If you go to...
No, the fact of the matter was that it was, in my opinion, a yellow card foul, and it's compounded by the misfortune after that.
See, you know as a ref when a player's got the red mist, so you're looking out for it.
Yeah.
And so as soon as it's happened, the ref's been over there straight away, tried to calm it down by getting the yellow out straight away, as if to say, look, don't want any afters from anyone, I've got it under control. But then obviously everything else has taken over, hasn't it?
Do you think he lost control of that match on this week?
He certainly did, didn't he? And the thing is, every red card challenge should be reviewed as well by VAR, and it wasn't. He's had a look and he's then shown the red, and there seemed to be a couple of other. He was quite slow on quite a few fouls, and I don't know if he was getting a call from the fourth official or what, because there's a foul, the ball goes, and Everton sort of like came away with the ball. Now, it's all very well waiting to see if there's an advantage. If someone plays the ball out, caught, you can wait and see where the ball goes. And if your team are still in possession, yeah, fair enough. But Everton came away with the ball, and he waited, and then he blew up for a foul against Everton. Yeah. I'm thinking, well, there's absolutely no advantage there.
Yeah.
So why have you delayed? So, and they were over by where the fourth official was. So I don't know if he's even had a little call in his ear to say, yeah, from my angle that's a foul. And to be fair, you do get completely different angles. It's not easy refereeing football.
If you were in Atkinson's position on Sunday, how would you have controlled that little 2 or 3 minute, well, a 2 minute period in the end, was it? Like a 12-minute period. Yeah. How would you have controlled that in the emotion of everything that happened?
It's difficult, and until you're in that situation, it is difficult. I mean, he's lucky. When I ref, a lot of the times I won't have assistants even, and you can basically have 15 lads all squaring up to each other, and you're just in the middle thinking,
what's going on here?
What can I do? I mean, it was over by the benches as well. I mean, your first priority's got to be the welfare of the player. Yeah. That's your first thing, and that then should give him time out to make a rational decision, rather than, God, look at his ankle, right, off you go. It's difficult, isn't it?
I think he's the type of referee that plays to the sound. I think he loves it. He loves everyone screaming at him. He loves branding yellow cards out. He's that type of referee. Whereas is it Michael Oliver, is it? I think he's one of the best referees we've got. I think you very, very rarely see him. You probably don't even know. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a very good referee. Doesn't love the attention. Just gets on with it. Has to be a player, he has to. But I think he's one of our best. And I think it's the state of referees in England at the moment that we didn't have any in the World Cup previously. Just gone, did we?
No,
and that says a lot, really. We're going to have to get on.
I just didn't want to stay on the subject. All I was going to say was just very quickly. It was just something Jez said.
No, far away, David.
I was checking if Atkinson was the referee in the United Liverpool game, which he was, and I was thinking about that challenge on Origi that led up to the United goal, and it was a conversation I had with someone today, and with you saying that he was delaying making decisions sometimes, I just wonder whether now with VAR they are delaying and making these decisions, or choosing not to, thinking, oh, VAR will pull this back. Yeah. And that Origi one was one, because that looked, although I don't actually think it was at the time, it did look like a foul on him that leads up to the goal. He doesn't blow for it, and he obviously thinks it'll go to VAR, so we'll see from there. I just wonder whether referees no longer feel confident in doing judgment calls on the pitches.
I think you're right. I think they're undermined by the way the process is currently being managed. I think it's undermining their ability to do their job.
Do you think it'll get to a point where, say for argument's sake, a VAR official in Stockley Park overrules a referee?
Yeah.
And do you think if that referee gets his time on VAR, he'll go, do you know what, he overruled me, he made show me the other week, I'm going to do him over? Do you think it'll get, because it's only like work,
human nature.
It's only like work.
No,
it could get to a point where it's absolutely getting silly like that. You go, you've overruled me, you made a show me.
There's probably a separate, I mean, you speculations, you'd like to hope not, but as you say, human nature, you maybe would say there's a shout for having the people in Stockley Park in the van not being colleagues of the referees, perhaps. Because again, in human nature, if you're close to someone and someone you get on particularly well with, you don't want to make them look stupid in front of the Sky cameras. I don't know. It might play on your mind. Maybe some of the younger referees, it just might be easier if they didn't know one another. But who knows?
They might feel intimidated then too to overrule them.
Maybe.
I mean, some refs. I've done the line for some refs and they don't even want the assistant to make a decision on a foul. It's like, no, you just worry about ins and outs and offsides. Even if it's in your quarter, I'll make the decision. And it's like, well, I might see something now. I'll see a shirt being pulled coming towards me.
Yeah,
but,
and you can't see it.
And then the defender's shouting at me, Liner, you've seen that?
Yeah. Is that ego then? Is that an ego thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'll sometimes only want my assistant to flag if it's something I haven't seen, because sometimes I'll have gone carrying, if there's like two people challenging for a ball, I'll try and let as much go as I can. And if I'm saying carry on, and then he starts flagging, it just doesn't look very good. So I'll say if it's something I can't see, then flag for it. But otherwise, let me be in charge.
But the bad news that come of all this was Andre Gomes' injury, Greg. It was a baddie. The operation was a success. We're going to miss him. I know David's got different opinions than me on this one, but in my opinion, I think we're really going to miss him. He's got someone we haven't got a midfielder similar. He said we've got a bit of class about him. He can carry the ball, a bit creative. He can hold the ball up well. Great body strength. I know when we're looking at stats, he doesn't jump out in terms of stats, but you know a good player when you see one. He's our best player in midfield, in my opinion. We're going to miss him, aren't we, badly?
I think we're going to miss him, I don't know how creative. See, that's the thing when it comes to stats, and probably, but I don't want to steal David's thunder. But I was obviously looking at this for a piece earlier in the week, and statistically, he isn't that creative. But I know what you mean. Sometimes you just know a player, and what we probably haven't got is anyone like him with the physicality combined with the ability to dribble past players. And then maybe he's a pre-assist type footballer where he will help you just get through the lines, and you need players with that vision. Doesn't score enough goals, doesn't create directly enough goals, but I'll hand it over to my colleague.
Come on.
Who's the
chomping at the bit. Chomping at the bit. Come on, David. Okay. Come on.
I think we'll miss him though.
No, in the context of the team that we have now and the midfield we have now, I agree we will miss him, but I don't necessarily think he's a midfielder that's going to be there to take us forward. You talk about creativity, he doesn't create enough at all. And to be honest, you're saying, maybe the assist before the assist. There's metrics out there, and he's not performing on them either. So he's not. He doesn't have a particularly great passing success rate. I will say he can be, when his tail's up, he's brilliant to watch. He has a nice touch, and he can ping a few good balls, but it's not often enough, and he can lose his head a little bit. I don't mean as in anger, I mean as in confidence in a game, and he can become a passenger a little bit. I think
that's a fair point.
Yeah, I don't think he carries the ball that well either. I think he's just I think he's a nice player to have, but I just don't think he's a match winner. I'd like to see someone better.
Jez, you team Tony or team David in terms of Andre Gomes?
I like him as a player. I wanted us to sign him. My worry is that I don't think he can play in the same side as Sigurdsson. I think we were too sluggish with the two of them in the side together. I thought he might be an assister before an assist, because he'll ping the ball out, he'll switch play and get it out to Digne or the right back, and then obviously if they cross it in and create a chance, then he's not getting the credit for that. We will be a poorer side without him in the side, definitely. He uses class when he's on top, when he's on form. He can control that midfield. I mean, his performance in the Anfield derby last year was testament to that.
Yeah, it was really good.
So we will miss him. The only thing is, we could possibly get a bit more energy in midfield. I'd like to hope Davis will get a good run in the side. I actually tweeted one of you after the Sheffield Wednesday game, I think, at half time, and said Davis was a bit of an enigma. You've got to... I think within the first 5 minutes, he'd almost created a goal for them and almost created a goal for us. It's like, are you going to have to put up with that because that's the way he plays? He will create. I mean, anyone can just pass the ball to side to side to side, and that's not doing anything for you, like we've seen when Schneiderlin's being alongside Delph. But Davis's first thought is, let's ping it forward, and if that ball gets cut out, so be it. Do we play him a bit further forward so it's not going to be as detrimental to the defence? If he does lose the ball, if it's further up the field, then so be it.
Greg, is this the time now? We're going to go to Marco Silva's press conference quote today, and he said Fabian Delph was a big doubt for Saturday.
Yeah.
So Everton are going to be without Gabamin, Gomes, and very good chance Fabian Delph will be out. That just leaves Morgan Schneiderlin and Tom Davis now for a whole lot of fixtures that don't look winnable whatsoever. We've just got to pin our hopes on these two lads in midfield, haven't we? We're probably fourth and fifth in terms of choice.
Is that assuming that we play 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, or 4-3-3 even.
Well, yeah, unless
you'd say Delph, Gabamin and Gomez will play as a 3 if all fit.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Unless in 4-3-3 with what we've got, I'm not saying this is a great idea. I'm just saying it could be an option that they do put Schneiderlin in a more conventional sort of number 8 role, and then have Schneiderlin and Davis.
And Sigurdsson, do you mean?
Sorry, I meant Sigurdsson.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
read minds.
Well done. We know each other too. So yeah, Sigurdsson into the centre midfield, if you like, and then keep Richarlison, Iwobi, and Walcott in the 3 in front of him. I'd possibly like to see him try that rather than just 4-2-3-1 with Davies and Schneiderlin.
Can Sigurdsson be trusted to play centre midfield?
Well, this is it. We don't actually know, do we? But the evidence for Iceland would suggest that he can do. But I don't know what's around him for Iceland. That just because it works for them doesn't mean it necessarily works for us.
David, do you think Sigurdsson can play centre midfield for Everton? Has he got the legs to do it?
No, not for me. I don't think he's got the defensive side of his game to do that role. I think if you look at that, talking about number 6, aren't you?
Yeah.
Schneiderlin to play that?
No, sorry. So we're saying Sigurdsson's playing number 6 or number 8?
8.
Oh, sorry. Again, actually, to be honest, no. I think Iwobi would be a better choice in number 8.
Do you think so?
Yeah, definitely. I think Iwobi has all the makings of being a number 8. I know he obviously...
not a 10.
I said he could do... For me, he can play 10, but I'd like to see him in an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he could play there in a 4-3-3. If you're then playing the 4-2-3-1, then put him in as a 10. Right. But if you're playing 4-3-3, I'd have him as an 8. I'd rather see him there than Sigurdsson.
Who should be your ideal midfield at the moment, what we've got?
Ideal
with the numbers that we've got to pick from.
Have we got no youngsters coming through? Other teams seem to...
You know what, Jez, just on that, I was at the under-23 derby on Saturday, and Dennis Adrian
Adrian, is it?
Yeah, and I always mispronounce it, but I think I've got it that time.
Go ahead.
Centre mid by trade. He's been getting played on the right recently. Genuinely fantastic performance.
Yeah.
Really good runner with the ball. He scored as well from a run that was from the halfway line, worked us all the way into the 18-yard box, and then in off the post. He could be one that could potentially be tried out, I think.
It looks like it's at times sort of past Bellingham by, or at the moment it doesn't look like he's one that's going to step up despite being a central midfielder.
Yeah, and he looked okay. when he started a couple of years ago, didn't he? Tidy and could put his foot in.
Yeah.
He made the bench, didn't he? But it seemed just by pure injuries.
Numbers,
One major talking point to come out of the press conference today is he was spoken about Richarlison.
Interesting what Jez.
And he was asked, is he a diver? Is he not getting enough protection? Jez, we'll go with you first, because if you were officiating a game of football and Everton were involved and you see Richarlison throwing himself to the ground quite a lot, and we all know we're Evertonians, he does that, we're not soft, we've got eyes, would you be reluctant to give him as more fouls than what he is given at the moment?
The frustration from me for Richarlison is not his going down, it's he stays down.
Definitely.
Doesn't he?
I agree, yeah.
And you're thinking, he's not giving it. We know you're not injured. Get up, because you might be involved in the next part of the play. Yeah. Obviously, he's not getting the protection he should get, but staying down for 2 minutes afterwards and then running around isn't going to do you any favours with the referee. If I refereed a player like that, obviously, if I was refereeing them for the first time, you might give them the first couple, and then if they're doing it time and time again,
get your cards marked.
Yeah, but if he is getting fouled, which he is, I mean, he was actually being manhandled the other day, so the ref's got to see that. And sometimes the only time you do get a foul is by going to ground, because they'll see you all over and it's like, yeah, get on with it. But you do, that's why it's, I mean, I watch a lot of football and I do watch what the referees do, and a lot of them will just blow once they go to ground. And I sometimes think it's a lot easier for them to referee than for me, because the games I referee, the players don't go to ground, even though they may have been fouled. And I was thinking, it would be a lot easier if you just went to ground. It would be. I could give a free kick there quite easily. Yeah. But it's more frustrating that he stays down. But he should be getting more fouls, and he probably sees across the park they only have to go down and they get them, don't they? We did say, the guy I sat next to the other day, I said he probably sees them at Anfield. I said, and he'd get that at Anfield. He'd get it.
Mane basically said something today that he was, if I have to dive for a penalty, I'll go down.
Yeah, Mane, as our cameraman has stated, said that Mane would deliberately dive if it meant getting a penalty. Is that Richarlison's problem at the moment, Greg? Is that he's getting kicked everywhere, but because he's diving around a lot, he's not getting the decisions?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's frustrating. He strikes me as a player who's quite emotionally immature. He's obviously savvy footballer and he's streetwise, but during games, I think, because not immature, maybe immature, unintelligent, because he should have figured out by now that this isn't working, going down and staying down. So I'd like for him to have thought, this isn't happening for me, I'll stay on my feet, because he's a big robust lad, not like a little will-o'-the-wisp winger who's gonna physically, he can't cope with the demands of the Premier League. And I think it's a vicious circle by going down, but also being like an effective player, a quick player. He's inviting more rough stuff from defenders because they know he's a player who can hurt you, and then they're getting away with it, so it's inviting more. And I think at the moment he needs to listen to people behind the scenes, and hopefully he's getting this from Silva: stay on your feet, or as Jez says, if you do go down and you haven't got it, so maybe in a few of them he does just go down. I think, he's hurt or what have you. Get up if it's because 9 times out of 10 he's all right, isn't he?
But David, has he got to over elaborate on the fouls? Is because he's not getting them. So if he's just getting kicked and he's not getting fouls,
you need double down.
He's got to elaborate on them because he's not being given them.
I think there's definitely an art to winning fouls and penalties.
And he's artless.
Yeah, maybe.
And there's a certain team across the park that have got it to a perfection.
But they have. Sadly, they have. Mane, Salah, they've won basically 4 points alone off doing it against Leicester. I thought Tottenham as well. Maybe that one was a bit more stonewall, but there is an art to doing it. I think they have got it. I don't think Richarlison has. I don't know. It's a very bizarre topic, isn't it? To be kind of willing your play to find a way to fabricate fouls almost, but when they are penalties, I thought that one on Sunday was a stone wall penalty. I thought no doubt about it.
Sanchez won.
Yeah. I thought it. You can see the connection. It's I wouldn't even say it's enough to make him go down. It does impact his movements. He goes down off it as a result, and it's a penalty, but didn't get it. So it's.
Do you think if that had happened to Calvert-Lewin or Walcott, it would have been a penalty, or do you just think it was a bad call?
It was just
bad day at the office.
It was a really bad refereeing performance, so it's hard to say, to be honest.
I wonder for that, because Atkinson didn't have a good view of that. If you see the replay, there's a player in front of him. He didn't have a good view. Now that's right in front of the assistant, and I just wonder if the assistants now with VAR are told not to flag,
not to get involved,
because it will be picked up.
Did this go to VAR? I can't remember.
I don't think it did.
The play continued for about 2 minutes afterwards. I think they did say it did.
Oh right.
Because I remember thinking this will be awarded a penalty when it goes out. And it's ages.
Get the ball out.
I was there.
Jez, just a final one on Richarlison. Do you think, I'm going to put you on the spot here, do you think referees get together before they go out and say, right, we're on to him, we've seen what he's up to, don't be falling for any theatrical?
They definitely will. I mean, guys who I've refereed before, you have less tolerance of them for whatever it is, whether it's descent, whether it's diving, whether it's, you know, he's got to go through a player. And
sounds like me on a something. So do you think they get together and say, listen, cards marked, watch out for him?
Yeah, and they'll watch plenty of football on the telly as well. We know by watching other teams, don't we, who's going to go down easily. I mean, the other thing with him that he probably holds his head as if he's been injured about 6 times a match as well, doesn't he?
All the time, isn't
it? It's so annoying.
Yeah. It's like, how can you be banged on the head so many times? So it's like,
I'm just laughing because it's so true.
Well, I think it was good. He's looking for this blood all the time. There's no blood. You're all right.
Well, I think it was good news to come out the press conference. David's best mate may play again this season. Andre Gomes. Consider that if he does play, Greg, this season, that'll be some recovery, won't it?
Yeah, remarkable. We were saying on the way in, weren't we? It's like, you know, I believe one of my colleagues spoke to an orthopaedic surgeon who about this injury, who said that 15 years ago it could have been your career's finished, and it just shows you how far medical science has advanced, that you're talking about maybe him being back on the pitch before the end of the season. God knows how, but fingers crossed. I almost think, like, you know, I don't mean this in a cold way, I'll forget about him. No, we send him our best wishes and we behind him as he gets better, but for our midfield, that's the problem now. And we'll talk about Southampton now, but it's, you know, it doesn't, in a sense, great if you can get him back for the end of the season, but it's not going to help us during this December with the fixtures we've got coming up, and you know, we'll talk about January, I'm sure, but I wonder if there's even more imperatives to go into the market now.
Before we just go to Southampton, everyone's obviously got to give their opinions on social media about Marco Silva not speaking out for VAR and saying everything's against us at the moment. A lot of fans are saying Everton are too soft. Why aren't they going to town on this VAR system? Why aren't they sticking up for themselves? Do you think Everton are too soft to managing? If it was Klopp, was it Guardiola, would they be ranting and raving about VAR? The way it's gone against Everton?
I've seen a few people who've tweeted, in general, tweeted at me and said, with that sentiment, it's too soft. Silva's, you know, just compliance, not complaining. But I kind of think, well, what do you want him to do? Like, what would they just feel more satisfied if he did go off on a rant, and that would be classed as him standing up? And but what would that achieve? It's not in his nature, is it?
No, he'd probably be seen as losing it.
Well, yeah, sometimes you can't win. Yeah, I know. I mean, Klopp might have raged at the cameras, but if that's not, I'm pretty certain that that's just not the way Silva does things. Could the club have come out with some sort of statement? It's not getting there yet. I mean, if something big happened on Saturday again, then I'd think, well, the club maybe needs to take...
They had Brighton the week before.
Yeah,
this can't carry on the way.
Well, no, I agree,
it
can't.
Cost us 5 points.
Like, so what I could say, if something happened again, it was blatant on Saturday, then I would think, you know, you've got to stand up your PR front here and let's get the message out there that as a club we feel wronged here. Maybe not after Sunday.
Well, if you
what about, like, you know, a lot of people are moaning even about Coleman and going in to see Son.
Interesting.
And that's being thrown into the too nice argument.
No, he's been now seen as the not guilty party. Now, Son isn't, because all the Everton players now have went in saying, listen, get your heads up, it's one of them things and all that. It's tough, isn't it? But if you were playing,
I'm praying when it comes to me.
Because you were making the example before about this. If you were playing in that game and one of your teammates got injured by that tackle, what would your opinion of that player be?
No,
you made the reference before about playing football, so
okay, but I made the reference in support of what I felt was a yellow card challenge. Like, I don't doubt for a second that Son has gone in to maybe leave one in on Gomes, but we've all played football and we've all kind of done that without the intention of injuring or even doing a particularly bad challenge. So for me, it wasn't a red card, and this whole, I don't know, I haven't, I'll be honest, I think there was some terrible decisions by the referee. I think Everton should have had 1, maybe 2 penalties. The whole Gomes situation, for me, I don't feel outraged by it at all, I'll be honest. I was disappointed to see him get injured. I thought it was really tough on him, unfortunate. Everything afterwards, I don't think anything wrong has happened. I don't think Son should have been sent off. I think he may have been should have been subbed off because psychologically he clearly was affected by it. I don't think it's crocodile tears. I think he was affected by it. I think all the words that have come out have been genuine. I don't think Coleman, who was being involved in a similar situation himself, albeit the victim, getting involved to kind of be a bit supportive to the player is wrong either. You know, I would want Coleman then getting in his face and being aggressive. I think it would all be fake. I just, nothing of this has really irritated me or made me feel victimised at all.
But are Everton too soft? Because sorry, Greg, shouldn't Silva be on that pitch in front of Atkinson's face, pointing fingers, saying how badly he refereed that game?
Okay, but that's something different for me, in my opinion. So yeah, potentially. Listen, I'd have no issue with Silva playing a few man games in the media about the referees, you know, because Ferguson did it, you know, Wenger did it, loads of them did, just to give them, to plant that seed for future games. Yeah. But certainly on this particular Gomes something, I don't think Everton have done anything wrong, and I think we just, as a fan base, certainly social media and everything, I think we just need to let it go now.
Sorry, go.
No, I agree. I was just going to say that because I've got a feeling I know what you might say. Like, let's kind of say, like, if that happens on a Sunday morning to you, and I see someone do, if I see someone absolutely wipe you out and do it, then the first instance I'm furious and I'm angry at that lad, and all hell breaks loose, and you know what the Bramley Moore Pub will be like. But he didn't wipe him out. It wasn't that sort of challenge. It was just,
I just see it a little bit different.
Go on.
Because he got, by the way, 2 minutes before, Gomes was holding Son off, and Son went down holding his face as if he'd obviously been shot. So obviously he'd seen Gomes doing, well, he thought he's done me in the face. So he's seen him and go, I'm going to lay one on him.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but it's dangerous then to start chasing around after him and doing the tackle that he did. It's very dangerous.
I don't think the tackle was that
99 times out of 100, 99 times out of 1,000. Yeah. It's just a foul. He doesn't even need treatment, and everyone's yellow card, carry on.
Yeah, I agree. I do.
No, I wouldn't even be booing Son the next time he come to Goodison, because I don't think it was. Yeah, okay. How many players do get the red mist? Yeah, okay. You're a bit late coming from the side. It's just, obviously, it just so unfortunate, the injury that was sustained because of the challenge, but not because of that challenge. It happens. That's it. As I say, people can. Bernard got injured. No one near him. It happens.
Yeah. I think what's maybe irritating people more is the fact that, you know, the media have been very supportive about Son, and as people keep saying, painting him the victim, which, okay, I can get on board a little bit with that. Like, it can be a bit of an irritation. I feel like both sides should just kind of be moving on from it, really. But that doesn't mean that because the media are doing that it should, I don't know, stoke up more Evertonians to get more annoyed and make it more of a worse challenge than what it was. Yeah, it's just.
Well, to move on, we'll have to move on to Southampton on Saturday, where it seems to be every week we're on here saying this is a must win, this is a must win, this is a must win. This is a team that have only won 1 in 6, Everton, so it's getting worse. You can't make an excuse for them if they get beat here, can you, Greg?
No, not really. You know, it is a must win. I totally agree. Put aside the whole, and we all do it, like, oh God, wouldn't it? It's just typical Everton going there, they haven't won at home and blah, blah, blah. They're a poor team at the moment. The crisis hit. They're coming off the back of being beaten 9-0. Wouldn't it be nicer, instead of going and playing the fall guy and they record their resurgent first win of the season against us at home, that we actually go there as a team with man for man, arguably better players. Well, no, not arguably, man for man better players. Go and just get on the front foot from the start. Use the resentment that's built up around the club, and hopefully Silva's able to do that in the dressing room and fly at them. And sort of like, so in a bit like the way we did against West Ham, ironically the last time we won away at West Ham, where the game was out, the result was basically in the bag by half time. We started so quickly, Zuma, Bernard, 2-0 at half time, and then it should have been more, but you know what we're like when you're not the most clinical of the sides. But I don't think we should allow the game, we need to score first, and we shouldn't allow the game to be dictated by them. With a better side, St Mary's, I know we've got rotten luck, but to come around, to answer your question again, to lose there,
shouldn't be thinking about. David, Everton don't fancy going down here over the previous year. Should he lost 5 of the last 6, if I'm right?
2015.
He knows his onions, doesn't he? What do you make of this fixture?
I totally agree. I think Silva is going to go into it and he's going to be even a little bit of a stick and twist, where he'll have to decide whether Everton just go for it or he sits conservatively for the first maybe half and then look to chase the game later on. I think he's got to go for the first. I think the latter is something that Everton have been doing a lot and conceding a lot doing it. I actually do believe it in parts. Brighton game, prime example. Everton have been a little bit unlucky. If you go 2-1 up away from home with 15 minutes to go, you expect to win. And had it not been for the penalty, they probably would. Things would look a little bit different. They haven't, and within this position now, I agree. I think he needs to win, and if he doesn't, it's going to be virtually impossible to come back from.
What's your take on it, Jez? Do you think he'll come back from it if they do get defeated?
I'm still in the Silva camp. I've seen signs that we can play some good football. I've been to quite a few away games this season as well, and it's been disappointing, but we've not really been outclassed by anyone this season. That's the frustrating thing. I mean, we could quite easily have won the last 2 games. We would have been 6th, and the expected goals puts us at about 6th in the table. Something like that.
We need Jez on here more.
Get back to LA.
So we're not being dominated by teams. I mean, there's just such small margins in games. I went to Burnley. We could have been 1 up. I went to Aston Villa. We should have been 1 up. We played really well the first 20 minutes. They get a goal out of nothing. Then we're chasing the game. Then we miss a couple of other sitters. So, although we've not exactly set the world alight, we've probably been the better team in a lot of games, and we obviously are creating stuff. So I think it is just small margins. That said, the circumstances we're in, we do need a result at Southampton.
How does she go?
That's the $6 million question, isn't it?
Predictions?
Prediction. There's a big prediction. Ends off on a good note, Jez.
1-1, and that's just because I think losing your centre midfield is a big blow. Not just one player, but 3 players. I mean, that's your engine room. That sets the tempo. It's going to be 3 new players in there, a new system again. It's just the fates are conspiring against us at the moment.
Yeah, they are, aren't they, Greg? So, what's your prediction then?
Sure. You can talk about a draw, can't you? I think it always comes. Well, prediction when I'm wondering is it what I want or what I think.
What do you think?
You know what? Stubbornly, I think that he'll get it right. I think our backs are against the wall here, and I'm backing him to get it right. So I think we'll win. I've referenced West Ham, so I think we'll win 2-0.
I'm going for 2-1 Everton. I think it'll be a lot tighter than what people make out. They've lost 9-0. There's no way they're putting another bad performance in front of their own team.
That's what I mean. I don't think we're going to go and annihilate them, sadly. We haven't got the same firepower as Leicester.
Come on, David. The floor's all yours.
I don't know. I'll go with. I also think they might pull it out the bag. You know, we were in this position Cardiff last season.
Yeah,
really needs to win that, and they won 3-0. So I think Southampton, hopefully, a little bit deeper into a crisis, and probably they imagine us on the cusp of leaving. So he might not be, but this is what I'm telling. This is the narrative I'm telling myself.
This could be like winner stays on it.
I'll go. I'll go 3-0 actually.
3-0.
All that bad luck's going to finally come full circle.
And if it's not, we'll chase him back to LA Blues. If you enjoyed that podcast, you know what to do. YouTube channel, give us a subscribe and a like. Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for tuning in. And a lot of you have been in touch and asking us to do a live audience one. That is in our plans for just before Christmas. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in on the All Together Now podcast.